Good evening, all, and welcome to the Tactical Devils. I'm your host, Jarvis Cocker, and with me tonight, I will, as usual, have Stu Wally with me, and we will have one special guest. Hopefully, Johnny K. Mode will come and join us. Johnny K. I see a lot of people tuning in already. We have Carlos here, Tom Porter, Danny B. A lot of people coming in now after we just saw the penalty shootout between Spain and Portugal. Portugal won the game 5-4. It was Morata who missed the penalty, but that's not the main topic tonight. We will talk about Gyökeres. Gyökeres, it came out from Fabrizio Romano, and we will go through every detail when Fabrizio reveals that Manchester United hold new talks with the star strikers. So there will be a lot of talks about transfers. I have some updates about Jadon Sancho, Donnarumma, Vanja Milinkovic-Savic, Oyedele. You remember him, the academy player who went to Poland. We have Osimhen rejected Saudi. Not sure he's going to leave. We all know that by now. And there's an Italian striker, defender playing for Roma that we're linked with. It will be interesting to see. So, guys, girls, we will be back right after the intro. See you in a second. And, guys, girls, smash like and subscribe if you are new. Yes, girls and boys, we are live. Stu has not joined me yet. He will be here soon. So in the beginning, it will be just Jarvis. I see Al Malmin coming in. Big up. Yale says Portugal wins. Very happy right now. Yes, it was a good game. Very exciting game. Didn't remind me about Nation League. It's a lot of tension in that game, and it's always a rivalry between Spain and Portugal. Tom Porter is coming in, big up, coming in and say hi also to Danny B. Danny B coming in with big up job, mods, and chat. And John Edwards is also here coming in and say smash that like button. Folks, thank you, John Edmund. I said Edwards, sorry, John Edmund. Yes, the latest, or should we just talk about the Portugal game first? Because we all witnessed we witnessed this guy scoring again. Let me just bring it up. Give me 2 seconds. Here we go. Here we go. Yes, it's Fabrizio Romano coming in and saying that Cristiano Ronaldo has now scored his 938 career goal. He's an absolute machine. So, gotta give it to the guy. 40 years old. Wow, what an achievement. And whoops, who's here? We have a guy coming in, and that's. Can we get just two? No.
Oh, what have you done?
There we go. There he is. There he is.
Yay, what have you done? Johnny K will be with us shortly. I used my original link. I was on my original link for some reason.
I didn't even see that you set it up. Sorry. So
No, don't panic. Yeah, don't panic. I set it up. I don't know what was going on with it. But Johnny, I've just sent the link to Johnny K. So hopefully he's gonna.
Superb. Johnny will join us shortly. I see a lot of people tuning in. We have Fred the Red, MUFC News is here. Bath Time is here. Big up Sunday night, Jarvis. Big up Bath Time. Good to see you, old friend. And Robert and Sia coming in and say new talks. What happened to the old talks? Yes, there's been some new talks. So let me just go through the latest with the let's see, where do I have it? Manchester United is reopening talks for Viktor Gyökeres. So Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that Manchester United now have reopened transfer discussion with the striker Viktor Gyökeres. marking a significant step into the search of a new forward. The Swedish goal machine has been a hot target for several clubs. We know that Arsenal are into him, Saudi clubs, but now United are back in the mix, engaging directly with sporting representatives. And this development mark more than a whisper. It's a renewed and serious push with both clubs seeming ready to move things forward. And previously, we have talked about the transfer fee around 60 million. And that's well below the 85 million release clause that was talked about earlier in the beginning. But it may be on the table, providing that Sporting soften their stance. And the interest now is coming from Arsenal. I don't know, PSG, I heard, were maybe interested in Gyökeres, maybe Liverpool and Saudi clubs. United's latest move could prove decisive if they are prepared to act swiftly. So the only question is, how will we fund this? Stu, do you have any idea how we should fund this? Because I think you're out of cash.
Yeah, look, you're gonna have to fund it with player sales, aren't you? We've got Johnny K actually in the background, so let's bring on Johnny.
Let him in.
Johnny,
big up, Johnny K. Sorry, good to see you.
We've got to fund it by, well, actually, two things. First and foremost, if you believe everything you've heard in the past, like Sir Jim came out, it appeared to be maybe not as truthful as we're all led to believe, because we know that 450 redundancies aren't going to suddenly make us compliant with PSR. We do also know, Jarvis, that we spoke at length earlier on in the week with regards to the holding company taking on the biggest part or the smallest part of the debt, and that's what our PSR is against.
Yes.
We also know, don't we, that Garnacho will be sold. We also know that Rashford will be sold. Chances are Sancho will be sold, and we know that Antony's got a decent value to him as well right now. So if we get 4 of those sold, we could be in the region of maybe 100 million if the cards fall into our favour. So you've got deals to be done there, and in terms of finance, we've got money available potentially for that. So, and you've also got homegrown talent in there, don't you? You have Garnacho, who's homegrown. You have Rashford, who's homegrown, so it gives us almost 100% of the value. But what makes me laugh more than anything, Jarvis, is that I could put up a parody account for my gran, who, God rest her soul, is no longer with us, and I could put my gran says that Gyökeres plays to Manchester United, because it's all absolute bollocks. And people are now starting to get called out on X. I don't know if you've seen it, but people are starting to call people out on X. Oh, he said that 3 weeks ago. He said that 4 days ago. All people are doing, Jarvis, is hedging their bets. They're just hedging. If I say it enough, I'm going to get lucky at one point, and I'm going to look like I'm in the know. When actually, fuck all, mate. And most people know Ethel. You've heard some other rival station today just, if what I'm hearing is true, Gyökeres, he's almost, fuck off. You don't know anything. So if I was Manchester United, and if I was Gyökeres' agent more specifically, I'd be leaking this shit anyway. I'd be pushing this rubbish around to as many outlets as I can, Jarvis, because you want to gain a gauge interest in where Gyökeres could end up. But you've also got to look at the amount of clubs that he could physically end up at anyway. Who is looking for a top-line striker right now? And that's quite critical for me. We know that Al Hilal are desperate to try and get somebody in. We hear today, again, if you believe it, that Oshiman's turned down. I mean, look, and by the way, Oshiman's, for me, is a really good yardstick, because a couple of weeks ago, they were trashing him for wanting way too much money. Everybody was trashing him. Oh, he wants 400 grand a week. Well, if money was his primary object, he signed for Al Hilal. He's going to the World Club Cup, and he's banked 600 grand a week. He wants to stay in Europe, and he wants to play football. He knows that if he stays in Europe, guys, he's not going to get anywhere near 400 grand a week, 350 grand a week, 250 grand a week. He's going to be on a margin of 150 to 200. But who needs an Oshiman? there's only really Manchester United that are really looking at a top-line striker apart from Arsenal, and they seem to be closing on Sesko, don't they, if you believe what's happening. So all of this, I mean, Inter Milan are supposedly looking for a striker, but yet they're linked with Højlund. They're not linked with Gyökeres. So what does that tell you? That Gyökeres has indicated they don't want to go to Italy?
Yeah.
Real Madrid don't need a striker. Barcelona don't need a striker. Bayern Munich don't need a striker. Manchester City don't need a striker. You know, Gyökeres's options for playing at one of the big glamorous... sorry, let me just rephrase that because I put Manchester City in as a glamorous club. Let me just take that out and throw that.
Yeah. Take it back.
Take Chelsea out as well.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, but there aren't these clubs looking for this striker. So, as much as it's kind of been rekindled again, Jarvis, and you know what you've been reporting has been reported. Quite a lot.
Yeah, it's tier one. It's tier one. It's public news reporting this. Yeah,
I don't think we were really. I think we were just, you know, putting our fingertips in the water to see what's happening, and then maybe Gyökeres has spoken to Ruben Amorim, and that deal is now going to progress. So I think from the monetary side, I think we can do it, and I still think once we've got Gyökeres and Mbemo, I still think they'll be looking to pull in a keeper. I'm pretty convinced of that now. Again, the Donnarumma links I think are tenuous at best.
We will come to that, Stu. But yeah. There's a lot of rumors going around. But
the one that may well be an option is Ter Stegen. If he has fallen out with Barcelona, maybe that's a big option for us. I don't know, but Gyökeres is interesting.
I just want to say I created a poll. The question is, will Manchester United finally sign Viktor Gyökeres this summer? And the options is yes, the deal will be done. Maybe if the price is right, and C, no, it won't happen this window. So get your votes in. I want to hear what the Devilish Tacticos think about this. And now to our main guest of the evening, Johnny K.
Hey, man.
What's your thoughts on the Gyökeres thing? Do you think it's a realistic option? Do we have the money?
Yeah,
do we want to come to us?
Yeah, right. I think we eventually will. I think he's certainly considering us, you know, and obviously the Romano update is we've spoken to all parties this week. That would indicate we've possibly been speaking sporting, wouldn't it? If we're speaking to all parties. So if you're starting to speak to the club initial talks, that might be seen as encouraging. Possibly in regards to affordability, it very much depends on. I mean, I don't think anyone knows truly how much we have to spend. Initially, it was less than 100 million, then it went up to 120 million. I think it all depends on. Obviously, we got Cunha through the door, and Mbemo. We're obviously looking to negotiate with Brentford. It's not just the price, but also how the payment terms, the amortization works and everything. So how much will that initial payment, because that can be factored into, you know, how much we start off with a fee for Gyökeres. Will it be dependent on player sales? Most likely it probably will. The option is, like we say, Garnacho will probably go. Can we put it to the next financial year? You know, can we agree a deal by mid-June, but agree the first payment 1st of July, which is the new financial year? The other option is, you know, like most people might do, if you struggle for money but you need to pay for something, you might buy it on credit initially and then, you know, but knowing you'll get money in a couple of weeks' time for some players, and therefore you're able to afford it within a couple of weeks, possibly. So that's an option as well. So I think the feelings I have around it are, I think it's most like at this present moment that it probably comes to us over anybody else, but that's not to say he can't go to anybody else. I think he wants a Premier League move.
Yeah, he said so. He said so.
So you think of the options. Arsenal were linked with him. They're looking at Sesko, but if Sesko falls through, they might then go for Gyökeres. But it's certainly at this moment they're prioritising the Sesko deal. Liverpool will most likely need the striker when Darwin Núñez goes, but they'll have to do that deal first, most likely. They've got a big deal to do with Wirtz at the moment, so you'd imagine they'll have to raise some money before they do any further transfers. And Chelsea, as would not earn much, so it is mainly between United and Arsenal where you've heard the most noise. And at this moment, you'd say maybe we're the slight favourites, but it's early days, and I wouldn't expect this to be a quick deal. I think it'll probably be a few weeks before we get a conclusion on it.
Stu, I see Bad Time coming in with the question. Any worries that this is a Ten Hag and Frenkie de Jong remake?
Well, I love that.
Linked player. Everybody believes this will happen.
Do you know, I love that Bath Time, because I know you've been, you watched Jarvis for a long time, but I know you see me on various channels over the years, and you probably know my stance on Frenkie de Jong, and Jarvis definitely knows my stance on Frenkie de Jong, and it was a big fat fucking X. No chance. I could just see what was happening. It reminded me, and I think I said to Jarvis on day 2 of it, it's a Wesley Sneijder all over again. And Wesley Sneijder's still holding out hopes, even at 52 stone, that he's going to sign on the dotted line for the mighty Reds. I actually, on this occasion, Bartam, I actually think there's some legs in Gyökeres. I don't know why I did, but I just think there's some legs in him and the deal, based on the fact that where would he go otherwise? Rather than stay at Sporting, because Johnny K made a good point, didn't he, Jarvis, about Chelsea, but they've just spent 30 million quid on Delap, so I'd imagine Delap has gone there with some kind of guarantee he's going to be there or thereabouts in terms of first team football, because potentially, and I just don't see where else Gyökeres would actually fit, in terms of teams, maybe Villa, for example. I don't see the point in Villa on his horizon. Forest will be looking. Well, I would imagine Forest will look to replace Chris Wood at some point. If Chris Wood has a similar season next season to what he's had this season, fair play to the lad, but it's not likely. If you look at his history, it's likely. So maybe he may well consider, or would have considered, Forest. But apart from that, outside that top 3 of Liverpool, Chelsea, City and Arsenal, and Chelsea within Champions League as well, I don't see Gyökeres being priority for them, and I don't think Gyökeres was ever a priority for Arsenal anyway. I think Johnny K's right, Jarvis, and you mentioned it before. Sesko's
Sesko seems to be the main target for Arsenal, as far as I understand. But it will be interesting to see, and now with the latest links, I think it's growing. It's more and more. I would say realistic that he maybe will go to us, and we are chasing Gyökeres.
I think the other thing with Arsenal is, I think Athletic reports this, I think they're looking at getting a striker in that won't always necessarily be a starter, and they might still go with a false 9 in Havertz as well.
I heard that. I've heard that. Yeah.
So it's like, well, Sesko is more the profile where he's young. He will start some games, but he probably won't start every game. So he probably suits Arsenal a bit more with that thinking. Whereas Gyökeres, you sign him, you got to play him ultimately.
And I think that's our problem. Our problem is, and I think we'd all agree, all the devilish tacticos, everyone that's watching, me, Jarvis, and Johnny K, we need goals. I mean, let's not sugarcoat this at all. We are desperate for goals. We haven't had a good goal scoring season in 5 years, have we? We were classed as a good goal. What did we finish on? +5 in the end. We're on minus last year. It isn't good enough.
Did we finish on plus? No, it was minus.
No, we were about
minus 10.
7 or something.
Were we? I thought we were like. I mean, we were on 5 at one point. Yeah. I mean, but my point being, 5 goals. Crikey! Jarvis knocks that in his sleep, don't you, pal? The ball coming, bang, that's it. No, it just isn't good enough for an elite team. But I was listening to Alan Pardew today, and I don't take any stock in what Pardew says, but he's right. The Premier League needs a beast in Manchester United again. It needs Manchester United. The Premier League is struggling without Manchester United pushing Liverpool, pushing Arsenal, pushing Chelsea, pushing City. It needs Tottenham up there. I know people aren't going to like it. It's not a popular opinion, but we do. But people know. The World Club Cup, Ronaldo came out yesterday, didn't he, and said he's not going. I kind of wonder today, I don't know about you, Jarvis, and you, Johnny, but I think that was the most pitiful excuse of a penalty from Morata, that he was almost handing Ronaldo his final trophy before Ronaldo, retires, because it was just, I don't know what Morata was thinking. I just don't, So I'm kind of, going back to the Premier League will become a sinking ship if Manchester United aren't there. We're still a big draw. We're still, the second richest, the most valuable club.
Yeah, 100%.
In the world. We're a huge draw. So, look, we must do what we can to get a top-line striker in. I think it's imperative. I think the goalkeeper is imperative. And then we work around it from there, don't we?
Daniel Brain coming in and say, I'm hoping he has too much respect for the manager to mess us about when it talks about Gyökeres and Amorim.
Good point.
Well, it's not only Gyökeres. He's out playing internationals for Sweden right now. He's not talking to the media. It's his agents. It's Sporting. So they will leak a lot of stuff just to get the momentum going.
Can I just say, Jarvis, brilliant point you just made. He is not speaking to the press. No. That's quite critical. When you're close to a transfer, it's really critical to remain silent. Ike Nori signed for Wolves today. You haven't heard from him, have you? Not a word.
No.
Not a word. We didn't hear off Cunha. Not a word. Not hearing off Mbeumo, are we? I haven't heard a word off Mbeumo. Have you seen any quotes off Mbeumo? Not a word.
No.
When transfers are in or something's occurring, you don't hear anything. Sesko, not a word. You don't hear from these players.
They just have to trust their agencies and the agents and the club and everything because what's the players going to say in a situation like this? Mbeumo came out, didn't he, and say he wants United? Yeah. Or was it his agent?
That was a while ago, wasn't it? But since it's kind of not a word. When you're in those final negotiations, you're stunned. You go under the radar. By the way, I would like to say Arsenal, when they do sign Zubimendi, he was wank against us, but he was absolutely sensational tonight.
I think
I've got a question. Oh, sorry, Johnny. I've just got one question.
I'd just like to respond to Dan's comment, and because when he was at Coventry and he decided to join Sporting, I heard the other day that he had as many as 8 options to leave Coventry, and there were across Europe multiple teams, and he said that the project, and particularly Amorim, was what drew him to Sporting. So if you're going off that basis, that hopefully will follow suit with us this time as well.
I think the thing for Gyökeres right now is he's kind of in that situation, isn't he, where he's got options. And it isn't just Manchester United. We know there are options out there. PSG. I think Bartime thinks that maybe Osimhen will end up at PSG, for example. But so when you've got the likes of an Osimhen and a Gyökeres potentially on the market at the same time, your options, they just decrease overnight. 50% straight away is gone for you, or the other, one or the other, because it's either going to be Osimhen or Gyökeres, isn't it? And United have played it either, or it's been played out in the press. It's either Osimhen, Gyökeres, and then Delap came into the press. Were we really in for Delap? I guess we were. He spoke to us, but he had 4 options, didn't he? Mateta, Jarvis mentioned Mateta the other day as well. Is he in the gap? But the question I've got from my old mate Jarvis is my old mate. Sander Berg's been speaking, hasn't he?
Yeah. There was some reports coming out when he was in Norway playing against Italy the other day, and he said there were contact between Man United and Fulham, and they wanted him, but the clubs couldn't agree on a fee, and it didn't happen. So but now I think he signed a 4-year contract with Fulham, so it's out of the question now. He's 27, so he will never be a United player, unfortunately for us. But we know the links were true now. He confirmed it. I just want to say to the late arrivers, we have 100 people watching, so smash the like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I just want to say, give you a little recap on what happened in the latest. Let's see, just bring up the. Here we go. So the main topic of the evening is it's not this one, it's this one. Let's go. Manchester United have held further discussions with all parties involving a potential Viktor Gyökeres deal this week. They remain in the race and are being informed of every development. And it's from Fabrizio Romano. And when it comes to the money aspect of this, it comes out with a report from Fabrizio that the money Manchester United would earn from the Champions League qualification was expected to help fund a move for Viktor Gyökeres. However, losing the Europa League final has made the deal financially complicated. And I think this is why it takes a little bit of time. But the key into this is a story that's been building up the last couple of days. Alejandro Garnacho will leave Man United. Decision confirmed on player and club side to part ways. So I believe we have to sell Garnacho for us to be able to buy Viktor Gyökeres.
We've got to sell Garnacho, but I would like to err on the side of caution here about what we can and can't afford, because budgets are set 6 to 8 months for the following summer. That's what happens with budgets. You always set money aside as you go along. And Manchester United would have known, and I know people don't like Sir Jim Ratcliffe, etc., and that's absolutely fine. Each to their own. I'm not a big fan, I'm not Jarvis, but the guy's a billionaire, and he knows what the fuck he's doing when it comes to running a business, growing a business, and making money. So he will be acutely aware, and we were all acutely aware, by the way, that the last 4 months of that season, our season hinged on winning the Europa League final. We didn't. The contingencies you do with the budget, and by the way, you do your budgeting yourself, Jarvis, for your own business. So you look at 3 areas, 3 ways to budget. You look at worst case scenario, medium term, and long term. So your preferred scenario is long term, your medium is more realistic, and worst case scenario is what you're going to deal with.
Yeah.
And I've maintained that when Amorim was hired, he would have said to them, I am looking at this. This is what I want. This is what I'm going to need. I want you to do this for me. And, and Manchester United appear, I would say, Jarvis, to be delivering, and Johnny, to be delivering on some of his demands with Cunha and with Mbeumo. I still maintain at that time with the initial contacts, the goalkeeper scenario wasn't put into place. I think that's the curveball for this season. And I think he would have gone to the board. I want a striker. You know how much you're going to have to spend for a striker. Get it budgeted. So I certainly agree that the Garnacho sale is exactly what's needed, Jarvis. But But whether it's essential, I don't know. Because when we look at the deal that we've done for Cunha, in this financial year, it's 25 million or 21 million pounds.
Yes.
That's what it is. And Mbeumo's going to be 25 million pounds, isn't it? So would, as Johnny K said, would Gyökeres be 25 to 30 million pounds this financial year? I don't know. We don't know. So I think the budget was in. I think they knew what they were doing, and I think this is why they're just
We are talking about around 60 million pounds.
over 3 years. Though it will be, won't it?
Well, that's why they are negotiating, I believe, at the moment.
I would imagine it'll be over 3 years.
So
we've also got a great relationship with Sporting, haven't we?
Well, Ronaldo, Bruno, Nani, did he came from Sporting?
Yeah, I think we got Nani from there, and also Ruben.
Yeah.
So we got a really.
Don't bring up Marcus Rojo, though.
Yes, that's true. So I think we've got a really good relationship. So I think the money's there. I think for me, Gyökeres is the type of player that wants to know when he's coming back from holiday, is he going back to Portugal or is he going somewhere else? That would be my, if I was a player, that would be my instruction to my agent would be. The internationals are finished now, aren't they? I think for most clubs.
No. Norway are playing tomorrow. I think they are playing tomorrow, at least the next week. You have the World Cup qualifiers now, but the Nations League is done.
Nations League done, yeah.
And Gyökeres did pull out the Sweden squad.
And then we've got the World Club Cup. We've got the World Club Cup, and I think players will want to go on holiday and know exactly what they're doing when they come back. I know I would. And I would be up to my agent to make that to make that possible. It's just me.
It's you. Nuradin is in the house. Nuradin, if you want to join us, let me know and I'll send you the link. No problem, my friend. 100.
Have we had a raid, by the way, Jarvis?
I don't know.
I don't see a raid.
I didn't see anyone say, but we have 366 people watching on X and YouTube. So please get the likes up and subscribe if you are new. That's an order from the man himself, Nuradin.
So the man himself, he's right.
I just want to go back to the poll, and we have had 154 votes. So 74% of the viewers think the deal will be done, and only 19% is on maybe, and 8% is on no. It won't happen this window. So the belief is strong with it within the fan base. Yes, Nuradin, I will send you the link. Give me a second.
Amorim is saying you got the you Norwegian guys. You got the Spalletti fired. He's gone.
Yes. Well, he will meet with the Italian FA on Tuesday.
Yeah,
and
it looks like he's gone.
I think his fate.
He's come out and said he's finished, doesn't he? I think.
Yeah, I believe so. Genghis Khan Jr. is in the house. Carl Pearson is coming in from X. Bring up that comment, please do, and I will send the link.
Carl, good to see you, Carl. Yeah, brilliant. If you could smash a like, subscribe to the channel, Carl. Anyone else that's coming from X, please smash a like. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We're on about 832, something along those lines at the moment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers.
We're on 847, so
we're on 847 now. So we've had some more. Yes, we've had some more. Come on. Let's see what we've got. Lancer, well, great car, the old Lancia. Lancer Evo, great car. And on the second hands out, yes, absolutely. I think the sooner we can, the better. Tom Porter's in as well. Hiya, Tom. This England team is as bad as it was under Southgate. You're not wrong. I didn't see the game, but didn't we only beat Andorra 1-0 or something?
Oh, it was dreadful.
It must have been. I must admit, I forgot we were playing. I was watching Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, and I had a bit of a chuckle.
It was. I think the players just gone bit. I think Madueke was the only one who played with any kind of intensity.
Really?
And I can't get my head around Curtis Jones, England international. I just can't get my head
I know. Albert Ewer, great to see you.
Big up, Albert.
But please like and subscribe, pal. And Wemo, sorry, Jarvis.
Yeah.
Umbumo.
Yes.
Umbumo. And Gyökeres will be announced before June the 10th. That is 2 days' time, so that will be.
It's not what I'm hearing because I have a friend. His name is Mick Ruby, and you all know
Yes.
him. He apparently has some sources telling him something different. This tweet he tweeted the other day, and 2 days ago actually, he said Justin been told that Viktor Gyökeres agrees personal terms behind closed doors and Garnacho to fund the deal. The deal is most likely to happen after July the 1st. Man United have held multiple talks with Sporting and the player. So you can think of it what you like, but this is what Mick Ruby is reporting, and he made a show on it, I think, the other day. So
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
he's
Yeah.
been a little bit ahead of the curve, the tier one journalist, when it comes to this Gyökeres deal. Yeah, and now I'm ready to go to the next segment, and I want to talk
Yes.
about the goalkeeper. We've been linked to several goalkeepers. We talked about Lamens, the guy from Belgium, the other day, and there's been some rumors now about several goalkeepers, but this came out tonight. What's his name? Milenkovic Savic.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
just in AC Milan are now interested in Torino goalkeeper Vanja Milinkovic-Savic. The relationship between Milan and his agent is excellent, and he has a release clause of only £20 million. So now Napoli, Man United, and Rome has interest in this goalkeeper, plus AC Milan. And then that's from Matteo Muretto.
Well, I would
So
imagine there's a bit of strength in that, Jarvis, because hasn't Mannion decided he wants to go to Chelsea
Yeah.
from AC
okay,
Milan? So I'd imagine there's quite a lot of truth to that, I would say.
yeah. But do you rate him? Do you think he's a good goalkeeper? Or Johnny K can go first.
I think a bit. To be honest, I've not seen much of him, but I think he does have he is considered a good goalkeeper in Serie A. He's served Torino well. Obviously, a former academy product at
He
United,
is.
but yeah, I think him. I can see him moving to somewhere else in Italy. I'm not sure we'll go for him as for new goalkeeper. I think I can see us going for a bit of a stopgap keeper in a way where he'll probably challenge Onana, become the number one, but might not necessarily be the right man long term. For the person that comes to mind for that is maybe Les Sealy, someone like that. When he came in,
Going back a bit there.
yeah,
88, something like that.
yeah, so he came in for that cup final. Yeah,
Also 90,
Yeah,
what?
1990.
1990, yeah.
Exactly, and he helped us win the FA Cup and the Cup Winners' Cup. So he
did,
was never
yeah.
going to be our long-term goalkeeper. But Jim Leighton was that badly damaged. He came in, did a job, kept the goal and everything, and then we signed Schmeichel. So I've got a feeling we might get a similar situation where we get goalkeepers solid between the six for a year, and then maybe going out to get a proper number one next summer. Because like you said, Stu, we probably didn't think we needed a new goalkeeper early in the year, and we don't have enough budget for that. So maybe getting someone in who's solid, who can do a job. Then next summer you get someone who you consider good enough to be number one. I think that's the route we'll take.
Talking about the goalkeeper, or maybe we should just do a couple of comments. I see a lot of people tuning in. We have Story coming in, and Taya Simba, good to see you. TK with a lot of good comments. Strefford Elite coming in and say July 1st is too close to the preseason tour.
Very true.
Yes,
Very true.
yes. We would all love Gyökeres to come in, but
unless we do,
starts in, doesn't it start in England first, the first game?
So again, sorry.
And then we go to Sweden before we move over to the US.
Yeah. We've got a couple of localish games, so I think it's UK, Sweden, and America.
Unless we agree a deal with Sporting before July 1st, and then he'll obviously go on holiday for a week or two, and then we'll say we've agreed a deal with Sporting, and then he'll come and do his medical at the start of July, and then he'll be ready for pre-season. Maybe something like that might happen.
I mean, your biggest, you know, when you're talking about pre-season, the biggest player you need is your goalkeeper. He's the one that you have to get in at pre-season if you're going to change your goalkeeper, because that is the most difficult coordination aspect of football going. You have to have your goalkeeper in place. I think we could get Gyökeres. I agree with Jarvis on this one, actually. I think Gyökeres is going to rumble on. I don't see a quick fix to Gyökeres. I really don't.
Well, if it depends on the Garnacho deal, I think it will take a little
unless
bit of time.
Gyökeres himself pushes and makes it happen. I think it could. I think it could go on. So, and if that's the case, then it goes on. But if we're going to have a goalkeeper, we're going to get a goalkeeper. You have to have
if you think, when you think of it, if, as Mick reported, they are in agreement, Amorim and Gyökeres, you know, if they have a verbal agreement, what's the rush? You know, he's going on holiday.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
exactly. I agree.
You know?
Yeah. I don't think getting Gyökeres in before pre-season is critical. Goalkeeper, if we're changing it, is.
Yeah. I think also, and it's also worth mentioning, Stu, I think I was on a show with you on All for United around the start of July 2 years ago, and De Gea had just left the club. And the talk was, is the priority a striker or a goalkeeper? And it was around July 1st. And I said, we don't even know who our goalkeeper is. Because Onana came in a few days after. So we had no idea who our first team goalkeeper was 2 summers ago on the 1st of July. And that, in many ways, might have pushed us back. So now it's more critical. If you don't have your ideal number one, get someone in who'll be solid and make sure you plan properly for who your number one will be next summer. That's, I think, what we got to do.
Yeah. Big up, Nuradin. Good to see you. Did you hear the latest rumors? Now we are in talk with Gyökeres again, and the clubs are starting to agree something. I don't know. We have spoken a lot about Gyökeres, but on the goalkeeping thing, who do you think we will bring in? Because we are linked to a lot of goalkeepers now, and this came out the other day. Today, I think earlier today, that Donnarumma was one of the players we are linked to. I don't know. I don't believe this one. I think it's not happening. But we all talked about this the other day with the Royal Antwerpen goalkeeper Senny Lammens, and even Leicester's Mats Hermansen are among those United have watched. And we all know we've been linked to James Trafford. So who would you prefer in goal next season?
I'm really, really liking this young kid. Big up everybody. Please, listen, people. There's nearly 200 of you in here, and we haven't even got 100 likes. Shame on you. Come on, people. Smash the likes. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let's get to that 1,000 so these boys can monetize quality content. Let's do it.
Thank you.
Big up to everybody in the chat. Love. I am high as a kite. I'm herbal teetotal, but I get high of dancing. I've just been out dancing. Because Manchester United have sent me, finish 15th. Never in my lifetime I have seen Manchester finish 15th. So on the weekends these days, I just fill my time with a bit of boogie. Dancing is always good for the soul. So love to everybody. I really, really like this Belgium goalkeeper. I really like it. As everybody knows my opinions. I never want to do Nana. I told everybody. And then you can't watch a goalkeeper in one game in a Champions League final and think, I mean, a lot of them are like, even Pep said he was good. I'm like, Pep's bloody playing us. Do not get any player that Pep says, do not get him for United. I really like this Belgium goalkeeper. I really, really like him. He wants to play in the Premier League. He's got the stature. He's at that right age. I really, really think he's physical. He comes for it. And all the attributes. Big up to Jarvis.
The Belgium
Senny Lammens. He's got all of the attributes to be a top goalkeeper. But it was not secret on anyone who see my views. I really like Diego Costa. I wanted Diego Costa before we signed him, and I was telling everybody to go and get Diego Costa. Who's also young. I don't know if he made penalty saves tonight. I didn't watch it, but I heard he went to penalties.
Yeah, one. He saved Morata's penalty.
Well, he didn't really save it. Morata kind of passed it to him.
Well, there you go. Oh my God.
It was woeful.
Oh God. You know what? There's certain things about spot kicks. I'm like, if you miss the target, I don't mind, long as you give it a boot. What is this tapping it back stuff? I just don't get it. But I would take him. I would stay away from Donnarumma. I would stay away from Donnarumma.
Same here.
I would stay away from Donnarumma. I am not buying goalkeepers when they perform in the Champions League. I'm not. We already verified. We were already bet. Onana looked like the most incredible goalkeeper in the Champions League, and I knew before him. I knew when he was in goal for Ajax, and obviously with a ban that happened to him and everything else. So, no, I want Manchester United to go and get a young keeper, a keeper that can be here for a decade too. And I think this kid fits all of the Senny Lamans. He fits all of the criteria, the physicality, receiving ball, all the stats are there to back him up. I think you need to bring him in, and obviously. Savage,
Vanja
Milinkovic-Savic, he was at Manchester United. Stu will tell you, I used to watch the youth back in the day, and I remember watching him play for on the 21s, on the 18th. I remember seeing him.
He was under 23s there, wasn't he?
Yeah, on the 23s. Yeah, I remember him playing. Yeah, I saw him playing, and there wasn't anything special about him.
We couldn't get a work permit, could we?
That's what, like, in terms of Gyökeres. I've got big up Stretford Elite. I've got PTSD. There's certain players that, for me, the quality needs to be done, and I've done a little bit of research on Sonny Lyman. So he is somebody, I think, he's got the stature, he's got the trajectory to even improve and get better. And I think that because he's physical, I think he's got that. He really got that self-belief and confidence, and you need a goalkeeper like that. Even if he makes mistakes, I think he's the guy for the future. His penalty saves are incredible. His saves to shot ratio is incredible. The one-on-ones, close shot, saves are incredible. So, yes, he's playing in the Belgium league. Yes, but Schmeichel wasn't playing in the Premier League. You know what I mean? He came here and made it his own. So,
he came from Bromley,
I think he can be developed. But for me, if we start the season in 3 months' time now, and Onana is in there, it's gonna be depressing. It's gonna really depress a lot of United fans, because I think we conceded 10 more goals because of him. And I didn't have a glass into the future. I just knew he wasn't the guy for Manchester United, because if you watched him for Ajax, I'm not buying a goalkeeper on a 6 month form. Gyökeres, he's somebody who's worked with Amorim before. Do I think he's the guy? I don't know. I've not watched him enough to know that this is what. But I know he needs space to run into. He can't head the ball. There are certain things that make me worry about him. And he bullies everybody in Portugal because he's very strong. But in the Premier League, you come into the most physically testing league in the world. There's something, I know that sounds weird, but there's something about Osimhen, I just think if it was between Gyökeres and Osimhen, I would take Osimhen, because there's something about him, his game, the way he shoots. Gyökeres got incredible shot, but I would lean towards Osimhen, because Osimhen, you can put especially with Bayern and Mbeumo. Osimhen is a monster in the air. He jumps, leaps like Ronaldo. He can get off the ground. And he's a box striker. And if you're going to play with Cunha and Mbeumo, we need that striker to occupy the centre halves and really push that line.
Yeah.
And he can play on the shoulder as well. So that's what we need, I personally think. But that's my 2 pence. People, I'm checking the likes. Honestly, you've been disappointing tonight. You're acting like Ineos and Glazers. It costs you absolutely nothing. Just smash the like on the video. The more likes on the video, the more people will see. And those of you watching on Twitter, get on here, get on YouTube.
Please.
Let the boys monetize. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers. Love.
Thank you, Nuradin. Thank you for that. I just created a new poll, and the poll is: who would you take as our new goalkeeper? And the 4 options we have is Milinkovic-Savic, Senne Lammens, Emi Martínez, or James Trafford. So get your votes in. I'm interested to hearing your thoughts about it, guys and girls in the chat.
Trafford.
I
I
like Trafford, by the way. I like Trafford.
He's northeast bound, isn't he, Trafford?
I think he can
Newcastle.
be
Newcastle.
But we've
I
been
know
linked to him.
somebody who knows his family. He would prefer to stay in the northwest,
in and around the area. It'd be good. Yeah, it'd be good. I like him. He's a good keeper. We all know that my favourite is the Mad Hatter himself, Mr. Emi Martínez. Love him. I think he's just fucking out. I love him to bits. He's nuts. We need a bit of nuts.
But I 100% agree. He's got that personality to play for Manchester United.
Exactly. He can wear the number 1 jersey.
Stu, why can't we get Lemons and Martínez? One at the end of his career, one at the beginning of their career. Why can't we bring both of them?
No, I agree. And I was about to ask Jarvis, actually, because I know we did we checked his stats, didn't we? Thursday, I think it was. But did we know what kind of money we're talking for it?
I think it was about 25.
It was
25 million.
Small change, wasn't it?
It's not a big amount. This is fairly cheap.
Yeah.
But his market value is about, I think it's 8.5 or something on the transfer market. So
how old is he?
22.
22.
Yeah. But his stats are amazing, but I haven't seen him play a full game. I've just seen the highlights and read his stats. But going from like the first team goalkeeper between Vanja Milinkovic-Savic and Emi Martínez, for me, I think Milinkovic-Savic looks better because I believe Emi Martínez is on the decline a little bit. He's 33 years old.
Yeah.
He's not a signing for the future, I would say. So it worries me a little bit, signing yet another player on high wages on the decline. That's the old Man United way. I would rather us go another way.
I'm a bit like Johnny K. If we could get him for 2 years, old friend, I'd take him tomorrow because I think we've got a bit of stability there.
Yeah.
If we are looking long term, and we're talking back to De Gea now, De Gea type signing, then James Trafford, if we could get him, but I think he'll end up Newcastle.
It'd be interesting to see. It'd be interesting to see who City go. If Edison leaves City, who would they go for?
It's Donnarumma. That's the latest rumors.
Yeah, true. But,
is that again?
But interestingly, Donnarumma isn't the best ball-playing goalkeeper, so it would be a change.
Chelsea are going to get the steal of the season, aren't they? Is it Mannion? Cheap, like dirt cheap.
Well, he's got 1 year left on his contract, but
I read something like 20 million.
But Stu, he's really injury prone for a goalkeeper.
Oh, is he?
Very injury prone for a goalkeeper. Really injury prone.
And plus, AC Milan didn't have the best season, did they? So.
No,
of course we are. We can't go without trolling Arsenal, can we? For trying to get Kepa, we got to troll Arsenal for that one.
I messaged a friend of mine, and his daughter's a Chelsea fan. I said, Arsenal and Chelsea, considering rivals, they always sign players off each other, which I don't get.
It's nuts, isn't it? That?
Yeah. I mean, imagine if United and City did one transfer of a player every summer. It'd be ridiculous, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Craig Warby says he'd like an older goalkeeper at the back, commanding presence. Didn't we sign Van der Sar when he was 31? Absolutely.
No, he was actually 35 when we signed him.
He was a lot. He was. Interesting. Interesting take there by Craig. Look, the thing with the goalkeeper is ultimately you really only hit your peak from 28 to 40. That's your peak as a goalkeeper. You're learning, you're still wiry, you're not built. I mean, it took when we look at De Gea, his shirts were hanging off him for years, weren't they? Absolutely years. He was tall, he was gangly. and he made some mistakes. So I just think we need stability between our posts at the minute, whoever that may be. I think we just need stability.
Mm-hmm. Just to end the Donnarumma thing, I just want to say this came out a couple of hours ago. It's from Marco Alcaraz. Comes in and say, as of now, Man United are not actively targeting players such as Viktor Osimhen or Donnarumma, as the clubs are aware that the transfer fees alongside the wages and overall salaries demands are not aligned with the current financial plans. So, yeah, I think we can drop that dead and not talk more about Donnarumma to Man United. I think that's
Jarvis, it's never going to go, is it, Jarvis? Go on, get the picture up.
No,
Jarvis, you should have your avatar as Nicholas Jackson just for a nice.
You should see it the other night.
Yeah, it was. Jarvis put up a tweet, and he was just putting up a tweet. That's all he was. We were talking about who we were linked with, and he didn't tell me he was putting up Nicholas Jackson.
This one.
And we spent the last hour of the show trolling Jarvis over Nicholas Jackson. He's come to never. He hasn't let it go. He hasn't got away with it since. So,
no, we're not talking about Nicholas Jackson.
No, forget him. He's gone.
Oh, we will talk about another guy, Jadon Sancho. He's been linked all over the place the last couple
just to say, Jarvis, I think properly, I would believe that United being linked with my local postman than Nicholas Jackson. Just letting you know.
It was kind of a dodgy source too, but I just put it out there and just
keep right thing off. Hey, we're here to report what you get sent, pal. We're here to report what you get sent. There was nothing in it. You were laughing yourself when you put it up, if I remember rightly. So, absolutely.
But let's talk about Jadon Sancho. The guy is linked now to West Ham. You've seen it here. There's tentative interest from West Ham for Jadon Sancho. There's been talk about the swap deal with Kudos, but it will smash their wage structure, according to Rob Dawson. And he's also now linked to Al Hilal after missing out on Viktor Osimhen. He's from Santi JFM coming in. And the latest also is on this. Borussia Dortmund have asked to be kept up to date with developments on Jadon Sancho's future. And they are one of numerous clubs in Europe and in the Premier League interested in Jadon Sancho. Do you think it will be easy to offload him? Johnny K, he's on high wages. He has a bad reputation as a player, dodgy attitude when it comes to training So, is it possible, or will he just go on loan and sit out the last year of his contract and leave on a free?
I think, I mean, we won't trigger his. I'd imagine he has a 1-year trigger clause, which we're almost certainly not going to trigger. I mean, I don't know what went on with that. Chelsea obviously was asking for more money. I don't know where he's going to go. And I think that's the problem. That I think the best we can hope for is that he goes on loan and the team covers all his wages or whatever. Because, I mean, from his perspective, what is the point in agreeing a transfer somewhere if you're going to be free in a year? So I personally think no one's going to pay him that wages unless Saudi come in, which, will they? I don't know. But I think the best we can hope for is now that Chelsea, he didn't agree a deal with Chelsea. I think the best option might be another loan deal, and then he walks away next year. I think that's reality at this moment.
Yeah. Nuradin, Sancho.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really too concerned about him as long as we get some decent money for him. So anywhere we go, I did hear some crazy rumor, and I think it was just more fiction. It was more of the Jarvis Nicholas Jackson type of fiction. But they were saying that maybe Kunda's, Kuda's swap deal, United. You say Sancho, West Ham, Kuda's swap deal. And I was like, yeah, I'll take that all day. I'll get Kudus all day. And get a left footer. Somebody who can play, and I actually think Kudus can play as a wing back. I really think he could play as a wing back. I think he's got the attributes to play as a wing back.
He's ruined it, isn't he, West Ham, Kudus?
Yeah, but yeah, if that was to work out a swap deal, yeah, I've got a funny feeling that he will end up more like in Germany. I think that's where that football really suits him, because that transitional, but also that where the combination of a wide player combining with a fullback is where he's at. So I expect him to go to Germany.
I think there's two issues with modern day.
Stu, I just want to say a question for you. Also, you can answer. Is it possible that the relationship between Man United and Jadon Sancho can be mended in time? Could he come back? Could he play a role as a number 10 in this Ten Hag system? Is that way out of the question?
The thing is, Jarvis, what I was about to say is there's a problem with modern day football. And I know I'm old school. I know I'm a fucking antique, and football was different when I was coming through. And it was. But I'll tell you something, Jarvis, and you would have experienced.
You're a nice antique. Nice.
Thank you. Oh, cheers. I appreciate that. But you guys know this. A golden age. I've got a ripe age about me, but we know that senior players 10 or 15 years ago would have got to Sancho and told him, "You're not welcome here. Find yourself a club and go. Take a reduced salary and go." So I agree with. I actually agree with Nuradin, and I know Yala's not 100% correct. I think he goes back to Dortmund on loan. We pay a bulk of his salary, 50% of his salary or whatever, and I think he goes on a free, and I think he goes back to Germany. I think the only way to do it with him is to send him out on loan again. Oh. Dear me, Ivan.
I'm hearing a Swedish accent. No.
All right, Jarvis, calm down. Calm down. Jarvis is about to come out the screen then.
Pick up even.
Yeah. No, I think Nuradin's right. I think he goes back to Germany. I totally agree. And I think it'll be a loan, no option to buy, and he walks away on a free. Johnny K is absolutely right. There'll be no trigger. We won't bother triggering his contract. There's no point because nobody's going to pay a transfer fee for him. And he will have to then, we can get rid of him, and it's up to him what he does. Completely up to him. I think you're absolutely right, Nuradin. That's his path. It's the only path for him, in my opinion. If he wants freedom, you've got to find your own freedom. If you're not willing to take, I think Chelsea had offered him 100,000 a week, didn't they? If you're not willing to take 100 grand a week, you've got problems. You've got mental problems up there. Because you could kickstart your career and find yourself back into the type of situation you were 4 years ago when Manchester United, spent £90 million for you to bring you to Dortmund. You could do that again. You could find that. But don't forget, Dortmund have forked out 30 million euros for Joby Bellingham today. That's done. So that's a big, Dortmund aren't rolling in cash, are they? They don't normally spend big, do they, Dortmund? They've just turned down 60 million for Gittins.
But apparently, if they get Gittins, then Sancho might be. They reckon if they get rid of Gittins,
they might use the money and do it that way, perhaps. Yeah. But they've turned down, what's it, 50 or 60?
But for me, I'm not gonna. But for me, if Dortmund want him, they have to pay 50 million sterling. For me personally.
No, I agree. They've got to take the money. Yeah, they've got to take the money. And this is the thing where I think Leverkusen are being very, very clever with Wirtz at the moment. They know they're going to sell Wirtz to Liverpool, and I think they're going to try and do business before they pull that trigger and sell Wirtz, because if they don't, then everyone knows Leverkusen's got money and they're going to come. So there's a lot happening, I think, in football. I think Sancho is quite critical to a couple of deals happening. Same with Anthony. Which I know Jarvis wants to talk about. But I think Anthony as well will be quite critical for the conveyor belt and for other moves to start falling into place.
Yeah. Anthony is a different one. It's been linked to several clubs now. But I think the problem is how much money can we get from him, because Real Betis don't have the funds. They don't have the funds, enough funds to go for what we would like in the a little bit north of 40 to 45 millions, I believe we are aiming for.
Okay.
Yeah. But where do you think Anthony will leave? Where will he end up?
Atletico Madrid, maybe.
Great move.
Atletico Madrid. Apparently, Simeone wants him. And I saw the quote from Simeone saying he's staying at Atletico Madrid because he believes that they're going to challenge for a league title. And that means then now they're going to sign players.
Is Simeone, just out of interest, the longest serving manager in football right now?
Definitely in Spain, yeah.
No, apparently the Andorra manager.
Atletico.
Yeah.
Is the Andorra guy part-time? Isn't he a goat herder?
No, and they said he's been their manager for like over 15 years and he has a win percentage of 8.5.
Hasn't Simeone been there for...
He must be... I mean, he was... I'm guessing early 2010s, maybe.
I think he's been... I thought he was... Anyway.
A little fun fact when it comes to Simeone, I saw a list the other day of the highest paid managers in Europe, and I think he's number one on that list. He's even higher than Pep at the moment. So he makes a good living in Atletico.
But he keeps them in the top four, doesn't he? Constantly, top 3, top 4, top 6, whatever. They're never out of there, are they? Jesus.
Yeah, this is the list of the highest paid managers. It's Simeone on 25.9 million pounds. No, euros. Wow. And Simeone, Inzaghi, and Pep Guardiola.
Is that Inzaghi one now that he's moved to Saudi, or is that Inter? I'm guessing it's
that's Inter.
That's Inter, John.
Oh, wow.
And Jarvis is all in pounds. It's not in euros.
That's pounds, aren't it?
Yeah, it's pounds. It's pounds. Yeah.
What we paying Amorim, Jarvis? Do we know? Is it on there or?
No, it's not on the list.
Not on the list.
No.
By the way,
doing it for free.
Simeone joined Atletico in 2011.
Fucking hell!
All right.
14 years. Nice.
Yeah.
We signed the head that summer after they won Europa League, didn't they? I'm wondering if Simeone was
101 likes. Brilliant. Thank you so much. 101 likes. There's 546 you watching. I'm not quite sure what the split is, but close to 200 on YouTube, I think. If you're on X, please come over. If you can get us to 1,000 subscribers tonight, because we have enough of you watching who won't be subscribed to pull me and Jarvis up to 1,000 subscribers tonight, guys. We're on about 847, something like that.
863. So
863 now. We're very, very close. Please get us to 1,000 subscribers. There's tons of you watching. It would be amazing if you could do that for us, wouldn't it, old friends? And if
it would be amazing. It would be amazing.
Like the subscribe button.
We promise you, Jarvis will sing a Jackson 5 song for you in honour of the greatest striker ever to grace the Premier League, Sir Nicholas Jackson.
ABC.
We haven't got 1,000 yet. Stop.
No. Okay, it was just a.
Actually, Jarvis will sing. Gonna be starting something. Gonna be starting something. Yeah. Nicholas Jackson. Yeah. Come on, people. Come on. That would be amazing if you can do it tonight while we're live. That would be a brilliant celebration. Come on, people. We've had a dreadful season with United, watching United.
Yeah.
Let's get to that 1,000 subscribers. Let's do it, people. Come on. And by the way, we've just gone over 100 likes. Can we get next target is 150 likes? Let's do that quickly.
Yes.
Let's go for the next target. I have this one. I want to talk about this guy, and I rate him highly. It's Lisandro Martínez, and Ruben Amorim came out in an interview lately. He said he's been hugely impressed by Lisandro Martínez before his injury, and use him as a key player in his defense moving forward. And the latest rumors is he will be back beginning of September, at least in training. So. Do you think this is true? Is Martínez a guy that you want to go that Ruben want to put its bets on, or is he too injury prone? Nora?
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually worried that the club were not linked with any centre halves, or there's not any concrete rumours, because Harry Maguire dictates the way we play. We play a lot deeper when Harry Maguire plays, and I think we need to squeeze the play. I think especially at Old Trafford playing at home, we need to hem teams in. I think Harry Maguire is injury prone. Martínez is injury prone. De Ligt is having a couple of injuries. So at this moment in time, that's 3 of the centre halves, the 5 that we've got. And that, for me, is a bit worrying. That bit is a bit worrying. And I think Lisandro Martínez, you know how much I love him, Jarvis. Leacher, he became a fan favourite straight away. We sing Argentina, Argentina at Old Trafford. And that's, you know what I mean? We don't sing that about anybody else. So he's got the fans backing, and he plays like a warrior on the football pitch. But I just think, specifically at this age, Jarvis, and everybody, when he's getting those type of injuries, it's really worrying. Especially like, ACL and that. It can really, really affect. And the muscles, it's not that it's the muscles become weaker unless you have an intense way of building the muscles and the strength back. And the metatarsal as well. So every time he goes down, I'm always a bit worried. So yeah, I rate him. I think he's a fantastic player. I think he's only one of the best, one of our ball-playing centre-backs who can actually thread. We've seen it with Ahmad's goal against City. We've seen it so many times. We've seen his goal against Liverpool because he can go up the pitch more under the system. He can be up there. He can actually break the lines, under the system. And I think the centre-halves are crucial. I really think the centre-halves, the mobility of the centre-backs, but also them breaking in and actually overloaded in the midfield and in the last third is really, really important. I just hope that he stays fit. But then you're already begging. So I genuinely do think, in my head, I think we need to. I know, Jarvis, you always remind me, Nuradin, we need to be realistic. And I'm like, what do you want me to be fucking realistic about? We finished 15. How realistic do you want me to be? We finished fucking 15th, Jarvis, right?
I know.
I say we need 7 to 8 players to start in the starting lineup. And I've had to almost curtail my prediction, but I said a goalkeeper, a centre-back, centre midfield player, and a winger that can play as a wing-back. So, but to me, a centre-half is really crucial. And we've been linked with somebody today. Is he the Portuguese winger? I think is centre-half. We've been linked with. But yeah, to me, Harry Maguire is coming to the end of his career. The late been having a couple of injuries. He's a warrior when he's on the pitch, to be fair. One of the games, he played with that injury. He did that injury, and he kept on and he played with it. And I think that's what took him out the final, or the last couple of games of the season. But yeah, I think everybody knows I really rate Martínez, but I genuinely do think to this specific system, we need 2. Actually, out of the 3, we need 2 to be super mobile. Centre-halves.
Yeah. And Lindelof and Evans is going to leave us. Yeah, we know that. Guys, any else? Do you have any comments on Martínez?
I do,
because he suited the Amorim system 100%. He played brilliantly when he was around before the injury. That's the thing.
Yeah. So the thing about the types of injuries that he's having, and he's been unfortunate with them, and they tend to have been toe stubbing injuries. So he's getting his ankle and his foot caught into the turf. That's been the biggest problem, which has jarred his knee. We're very lucky he's not had meniscus injuries, and I think that was pointed out today, if I'm not mistaken, or yesterday, that he's not had any meniscus tears. Which anybody who's had a meniscus tear, it's almost career threatening. Yeah. Nuradin's also right about muscle tonnage. You need to really grow your muscles, not just above your knee, but you've got to try and stem up your calf muscles as well to kind of support your anterior side of it. So what's going to be critical actually for Martínez to come through, and the comments have been absolutely brilliant and on point, and none of you are wrong actually, which is a little bit contradictory for what I'm about to say. because you could look at Martínez to say he is injury prone, and you could look at him, which a lot of the guys have said, and they think he's probably not going to be the Martínez, the Leach that we're going to have. And those are all relevant points. Actually, they're all relevant points. So first and foremost, as a player, you've got to learn to adapt to the problems that you've had. So when you're doing your rehabilitation, you've got to learn to maybe slightly walk differently. You've got to learn to slightly run differently. So you might not be able to run in your natural stride pattern. You might not be able to walk in your natural stride pattern because that might be weakening any issues you might have in and around your knee area. The second and third part about the rehabilitation is Martínez was overplayed when he came back from his injury the last time to when he was injured this previous time. He was overplayed a lot within that period. Jarvis is right. Nuradin's right. Johnny K's mentioned it in parts. They've overplayed him because he fits the Amorim system correctly. You need to play 1 to 2 games and you need to step out for at least a week. And within that week, you do your rehabilitation again on your injury. And you do that for about 6 to 8 months, which sounds crazy because you want these type of players continually available, but that's the only way so what I'm trying to say is, guys, you have to manage your injury and you have to manage your recovery way better than just going back and training on the grass. So every time you hear a gaffer come out and say, yeah, he's training on the grass, he's training with the group or whatever, don't be fooled. If you're not taking care of yourself, and I've spoken about it, and Jarvis will tell you this, I spoke about Martial all the time. It becomes a mental battle as well as a physical battle, and you've got to overcome that. And we've got players that aren't able to overcome mental battles. We've seen it in the past, haven't we? Luke Shaw can't overcome it. Mason Mount hasn't been able to really overcome it, has he? Anthony Martial couldn't overcome it. These are really good footballers that we're talking about. Back when Ryan Giggs was having all his hamstring injuries, he overcame it. He had to change his style of play. He had to, Michael Owen talks about it all the time. When he was having hamstring injuries all the time, he tried absolutely everything to strengthen up his hamstrings. He couldn't get it done. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that, and I agree with Nuradin and Jarvis, this is going to surprise you a little bit, but I think it's probably time for Harry to step out of the first team. I think he's been absolutely brilliant last season for us. He couldn't be any fucking worse, could he, than anyone else? Let's be honest. Scored a lot of vital goals for us. Jarvis, I'd like to see him go into a mentoring role. And there's one thing that you can never, ever accuse Harry Maguire of, and that is shirking responsibility and understanding what it really means to put on that shirt. And I think he needs to show that mentality. And we could use his experience in the background to nurture Yoro, nurture Heaven, nurture Kone, nurture Collier, nurture all of these younger players. Don't let them get to the stage where Garnacho is a problem anymore. Mainu lost his head. His head had a wobble, didn't he? Let's get Mainu back on side. I want to see Maguire utilised better as an overall squad player, Jarvis. Go back to club captain and really be the man that we need. And then let's really bring on Heaven, because I like what we see with Heaven. Yoro in particular I like. And then filter Martínez in. Fredrickson, filter Martínez in and filter him out. Filter him in and filter him out. Get him strong. Get him ready. So that when we need him for the critical parts of the season, we've got a fully fit Martínez. We've got a working Martínez. And that's it. That's, in my opinion, the best way to bring him through.
I think also the fact that he helps having one game a week for the majority of the season as well. Because then if you're getting injuries, then that's going to be a big issue. So rest recuperation is also important, like making sure he does everything right off the pitch. And you can't ignore the fact there's a World Cup next year and he'll want to be in the Argentina squad as well.
I wouldn't be. If I was Martínez, though, I wouldn't be. And this is where you've got to take big decisions in life. Do you want a long career, or do you want to go to the World Cup? You've already won the World Cup once. I know you want to win it again, but do you want a career? Do you want to play at the highest level? I was listening to Fabio Wardley this morning. I know it's boxing, But he says he's got to make a decision about whether he wants to take years off his life by continuing to do what he's doing at the way that he's fighting. Unless he changes the way he fights, he isn't going to have a long career, and he's going to have an even shorter life. And footballers have to do this. Footballers have got to make that change. We all have to do it in life anyway, don't we? Some things, you open the door and you've got to change certain things about your life to keep your life on the straight and narrow. Footballers need to do this. I think absolutely 100% Nuradin, you are spot on with De Ligt. He played injured for 2 games and we missed him. You were 100% spot on. So, and I don't want to see that happen anymore, Jarvis. I really don't. No. I don't.
A lot of good comments about this. I think most agree that we brought him back too soon, Martínez, and but I think he's vital for the way Amorim wants to play. We don't have that type of ball-playing centre back who can actually break the lines with his passing, and we could see that. And also, he has courage to move up the pitch. He scored a couple of goals right before the injury. He scored a brilliant goal against Liverpool, and I think he started to find his role in this system. But I agree with bringing him back gradually when he comes back. And the thing is, now we've been linked to another player, and this came out today. It's Spurs and Man United have been inquiring about Evan Ndicka. The price is around 40 million euros. So I don't know nothing about this guy. He plays for Rome. But I took a little check on FB Ref, so let's have a look. I think he could be interesting. He's left-footed, centre-back. We all know that's the Leach role. He's 25 years of age, or almost 26. He's from the Ivory Coast, same as Amad Diallo. This year he's played 38 games in the Serie A and 11 in Europa League, 1 goal, 1 assist. And he's on weekly wages, 98k a week, euros. So we are talking about maybe 150 million pounds if we bring him in wages. But the interesting thing is his stats, and when you look at it, it's his passing attempts and pass completion that's his biggest attribute. You know, he's not a really defensive defender; he's more of a ball-playing defender. And I also did some research on SofaScore just to check out the heat map. And if you look at to the left, you have Evan Ndicka's heat map, and on the right you have Lisandro Martínez. And you see they are similar in the way they are playing. So if we ever going to bring in a replacement for Leach, I think maybe this is the guy, Evan Ndicka. So. I don't know if any one of you have seen him play for Rome this season, or anyone in the Devilish Tacticos in the live chat knows anything about him. Let us know, because I think he looks interesting. The only thing that worries me a little bit is his wages and transfer fee, 40 million pounds.
It's interesting about the heat map though, Jarvis.
Yes,
both appear to be high-playing left wing backs. They're not. But if you look at their overall trajectory, and their heat maps, they hit the length of the pitch quite well.
Yeah, I will try to see if I can find more info on this guy. I don't know anything about him,
no,
so
I
I have
don't.
to be honest. But from stats perspective, it looks interesting. So I would do more research on him. Jarle Malmin comes in with a comment and say, does he play for France or Ivory Coast? I believe it's Ivory Coast. Well, yeah, it's true. We have many players going to the AFCON.
I think he might be born. I think he might be born in France, but he plays for Ivory Coast.
Yeah.
Is there an Ivory Coast? Is there an AFCON this January next year? Will be strange.
I think it might be the qualifiers for the World Cup.
I don't think it's an AFCON this year.
It'd be weird having an AFCON and then a World Cup 6 months later. Well,
yeah.
I won't put it past Greedy Fever, though. I wouldn't put it past him.
No. So it was just to inform you a little bit about the latest transfer links. But I have this one, and I'm interested in this guy. I think he's a massive talent, and I know you, Nuradin, rate him highly. It came out that Maxi Oyedele is set to leave Legia Warsaw for about in a £6 million release clause, and Man United will receive 40%. But I think that's so cheap, and we lack midfielders that's composed on the ball, that's really good. Shouldn't we just bring him back? Because I think he looked brilliant last summer when he played a couple of games for us.
He did. I remember, yeah. I'd forgotten about him, Jarvis, to be honest.
I would never have let him go. But go ahead.
There is an AFCON.
Yeah, there is, yeah. I'd forgotten about him, Jarvis.
Oh, my God. Crazy.
Just a quick one. If Newcastle do sign Alanga, don't we get 15 to 18 million on that deal?
Yeah, we must have a
we've got a sell-on clause, yeah.
Yeah.
And we could so if Fernandez goes to Madrid, we could get 8 million there. So if
we're going to get some money, yeah, for him.
So we could get a little over 10 million for Oyedele and Fernandez, which could help us buy a player maybe, because it's your profit, isn't it?
Just a quickie to the Devilish Tacticos. We've got a few questions start. We'll hold those over for tomorrow night's Q&A session. So
we can do a couple of more questions, because I don't have any more. If you don't have anything more to add about Oyedele, but for me, basically, I just want him back. I want him back, and I think we need a player like him in our midfield. But we don't develop young players. That's our biggest problem. So, but I don't know. I think he looked really good.
I don't really remember him.
And I wonder what happened to players like Zidane Iqbal, was it?
Zidane Iqbal.
Yeah, I remember him, and I think there were one or two others, but I wonder what they're up to these days.
Yes, Zidane Iqbal is still in Holland. Is it?
Okay.
Was it Heerenveen or something?
I think isn't it Alma? Is he?
And of course, potentially Greenwood. He was in Marseille, maybe, because I think we got a sell-on clause there, haven't we?
Yeah, so we could make a little bit of money from our young players. Stu, do you want to do a couple of questions before we wrap it up? 5-6 minutes.
Do you want to give the Nicholas Jangle? Sorry, I thought Nicholas Jackson jingle a go.
Can I just quickly say about the young midfielder?
Yes.
I was absolutely flabbergasted. Jarvis will tell you I've been raving about him. And I was shocked that United let him go, honestly. Couldn't believe it. I thought it was some sort of thing, because honestly, Maxi's got unbelievable trajectory, unbelievable progress. And bringing him back into Manchester United, he would thrive. He could actually play. Him and Collier could play together. I really think that. I really think that he's got legs and engine and composure. He's more composed on the ball than Collier. He stands the ball. He picks up the ball. He plays. He's got a burst. Break the lines.
Well, I want that burst. I've been calling it for a long time. Guys, there is 558 of you watching. We're at about 115 likes, 870, I think, subscribers, Jarvis, last time I looked.
Yep. Something around that. Yeah.
We are close to getting to 1,000 subscribers. If you can, please do. Jarvis puts a lot of work on in the behind the scenes. I've just started to help him a little bit by setting up streams. I'm getting there. It's baby steps for me. But Jarvis does a hell of a lot of work behind the scenes. So Nuradin knows what it's like to put on a show. So does John. It's a lot of time and effort. We're all family men working on that. So if you would kindly go across, anyone on X that isn't subscribed, go across to YouTube. Please subscribe, hit that like button, because we would love to get to 1,000. Jarvis put a lot of work into this channel. Big thank you to Nuradin for joining us. Big thank you for Johnny K. Devilish Tacticos, as always, you're on fire. We've got a few questions. So we've got some great knowledge on the panel. So We are going to start with Johnny K on this one. From TK. I hope you're still watching, TK. Thanks for all your comments. You've been absolutely brilliant tonight. Where are we with selling players, wanting to buy players at quite in order to clear the likes of Sancho, Shaw, Rashford, Casemiro, etc.? What would you do with those, Johnny K?
Yeah, I'd look at getting rid of all of them. We kind of answered Sancho early in the show. Sancho is, I think he'll probably be loaned out, like you say, to Germany, and I'd be amazed if we get a transfer fee for him this summer, to be honest. Sure, I think he's got 2 years left on his contract, so
he's just signed one, didn't he, recently?
Yeah, so is it a case of a bit like a Rooney situation where you just say thank you for your service, we'll let you go free somewhere, or obviously we'll have to pay him some wages, or is it the case of we'll send him to a team and loan with an obligation Sky? I think that loan obligation Sky, I think that's probably the most likely outcome. Rashford, I personally think he'll probably end up at Barcelona, but I think he'll probably be towards the end, maybe August. I reckon that might be. Casemiro, I think he'll probably stay, because I don't think there's anyone who'll probably look to purchase him. So I think he'll probably stay around for another year and then walk away at the end of next season.
Yeah, he's back in the Brazil squad, isn't he? I know Ancelotti's the gaffer, but he's back in the Brazil squad. I think he played, didn't he? Just recently. TK, I hope that answers your question, Johnny K. Thanks for that. Fred the Reds, I would take Martínez, as the lads on the panel know. Just like Jarvis would take Nicholas Jackson in a heartbeat. That's what we would do. Jarvis, the Jackson, we just can't let it go, can we? Jarvis, got a question from you from Valentino. I got a question. If answered, I would love to. I'd love to sub. But what is the updates on sale? How are we looking on the ends? It's impossible in terms of new. I think he's looking at where we are with sales. I think at the end, as it's input in terms of new players, we are like to sign before the 10th.
If we are likely to sign anyone, the only one we are likely to sign before the 10th is Mbumo. So besides that, I think we have to wait. The next opening will be after the Club World Cup. It will be 2-3 weeks, or are we talking more? So second week in July, I believe the window opens again.
It opens up after the World Club Cup, doesn't it?
Yeah. But no, I don't think we will see any more signings before that. Maybe the only thing we are hearing small rumors about Gyökeres coming in before the 10th, but I don't see that happening because I don't think we have the funds, and I think we must sell Garnacho before that. So I hope that answers your question, Valentino.
Yeah. Nuradin, we've got two Dan Gall questions here, actually. There's one from Emmanuel and also from Yala. You've kind of answered the Dan Gall daily when you were talking about passing and speed, etc. So I'm just wondering about whether you could perhaps...
Oh, sorry.
It's all right. It's messing with me. Whether you could answer Yala Mameen's question. Is there any truth that we are selling Gall?
The last thing I heard was did we send him on loan last season? He was on loan, wasn't he?
He was on loan, Dan Gall, wasn't he? They got injured, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. And then he came back. So he came back to recover. I would send him on the loan in the Championship again, but a good footballing side in the Championship. I think a lot of people are put off by him because he's quite small. But that boy, he's got something.
Big talent, and
something about him.
If you talk to Yala, I know it's difficult, but we know that a lot of the local lads are going watch down to Leeds Sports Village on a regular basis, aren't they? Watching the under-21s or at Carrington watching the under-18s, and they've been raving about Dan Gall for the last couple of years. In the same breath as Shea Lacey, they see both of those with real talent. Jarvis, I'm going to let you answer this, old friend, and then we'll finish off with you, Johnny K. Fred is asking me, what's the difference between playing on grass, artificial pitches? Please elaborate, as I find grass less spongy. Go for it, Jarvis.
Yeah, if you ever played on AstroTurf or artificial grass, as it's called nowadays, the ball goes much quicker. You have to water the pitch before you go on it, and it's something else. You know, the game is you speed it up by 0.5. That's how it is. It's something else. But for me, I've always loved fast, quick football. You know, and when I was younger, I always played futsal a lot and indoor. So I was used to the game going a lot quicker. So playing on AstroTurf, that's my thing, my favorite. But you know, it's something else when it comes to injuries. The ball is more natural. It rolls more natural. The bounce is more natural. Everything is more natural on grass. And the good thing is you don't get injured slides tackling, you know, because you know the friction is something else when you play on AstroTurf. So after a season in Norway, you always have like your knees look like meatballs after a full season in the Norwegian league, at least. So, but yeah, I don't know, guys. You ever played on AstroTurf in Britain?
Yeah, so I prefer grass personally. I think grass as Jarvis says, sorts the men from the boys. You can't always adjust to the bounce, especially even on some of the grass pitches in the UK. You asked about sponginess between the two. So Jarvis is absolutely right. Modern day AstroTurf, 5G in particular, has grass woven into it. So there's artificial grass and grass woven into it. And what you'll find sometimes, especially in the UK, I don't know if it's the same in Norway, Jarvis, you'll see grass cuttings along the side of the pitches. And what that is, they have to roll it with a cutter. So they can actually skim the top of it. So artificial grass actually in the UK does grow. There are now 4 to 5 types of different studs, Fred. And what you need to do is always in your boot bag. Jarvis will grin at this because he knows my boot bag. So with Johnny K, always take 3 to 4 pairs of different types of studs with you. So if you know you're going on to a grass pitch, take a pair of Moldies, Copa Mundials in particular would be my recommendation, as well as a pair of World Cups, and maybe a all-weather boot. And the reason you take 3 is you might find that it won't take a stud, and if it does take a stud, it still might be quite hard, in which case you'll hurt your heel. So you would then use your Copa Mundials. If it's a little bit too soft for your coppers, you then go to your multi-gram boots. So you need to carry at least 3 pairs of boots. Jarvis will tell you this, though, playing on AstroTurf, there are 2 types of AstroTurf boots as well. Okay, you've got your Copa Mundials, which are your small studs, and then you've got a 2 and 3 and 4G boot, which has got multiple little studs across the bottom, about 80 quid. Those are your best boots to buy for the new 5G. You'll find they're quite spongy on your ankle, and your instep won't get so sore as if it is on a harder ground. I hope I haven't bored anyone. Nuradin looks like he's gone to sleep.
No.
Jarvis is great.
No, actually, I'm thinking about. Yeah, I actually prefer to play on grass because, like you said, everything's unbelievable. And I had some of my worst injuries on the artificial.
Yeah. Terrible, absolutely terrible.
Just to prolong that question, sorry, Stu, but have you ever played on modern AstroTurf pitches? Because now in the new ones that comes to Norway, you know, you have a big padding underneath, so it feels soft. It's like walking on natural grass. It's like super clean cut, and the only thing is the friction. I believe that's the only worry because injuries. But if you water it really well before kickoff, you'll be fine, but the ball goes faster. That's I would say it's the only difference when you come to the modern, perfect new pitches.
I've actually played on the AstroTurf at Carrington.
Oh, well, there you go. I've done it at St George's Park
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I've played majority of my football on five-a-side AstroTurf and at Carrington as well. And unfortunately, I've got bad knees. I would say the AstroTurf I played on it was very heavy. Knees, and I think it might contributed to the knee issues I have now. But it was always good fun though. Like everyone, I think grass is much more natural to be.
I don't want to go into it too much, but Jarvis talks about speed of play, and at my age, my Zimmer frame won't get me across the ground anywhere near as quickly as it used to. So that's why I prefer grass old school. Got 2 questions to go. Very quick one. Yes or no? I think it's bullshit. So I'm going with no. Jarvis and Buemo going to Spurs with Frank.
Yeah, there were some rumors. This came out, I think it was late last night. So, breaking, Thomas Frank has told Spurs he wants them to rival Manchester United for Brian Mbeumo, and Frank is set to be confirmed as Ange Postecoglou's successor next week and is keen to take Brentford's in-demand forward with him, according to no other than the Mirror. So the source is kind of bullshit. So let's put that in the bin. I don't think he will go to Spurs. That's my
yeah. I think that they would have to pay. I can't see Daniel Levy paying him $200,000.
No, he wouldn't pay him. Yeah. No. Johnny K, you're a no as well, aren't you?
Yeah, and plus, I mean, he'll play on the side of Kulusevski, won't he?
Exactly.
So it won't be guaranteed. So no.
Guys, still 546 of you watching. We've got one more question. This is right up Johnny K's street. Question: what youth player do you think you guys will break through to the first team who we didn't see last year? Johnny knows his youth, by the way. Okay, he's very knowledgeable about Manchester as a whole.
It's going to be harder because there'll be fewer games next season, won't there? And it depends how soon. If we are to win more games next season, you're more likely to see the youngsters once. If you're 3-0 up after 70 minutes, for example. So, most likely player, we're going to. I think that. What's his name? The Montato, is it? I'm trying to think. He scored the winning goal in the Youth Cup game against Arsenal.
You were talking about him the other week, Nuradin. What's his name?
Yeah, what's that man? He just signed a new contract.
Nuradin was talking about him, yeah.
Yeah,
the winger. He can play as a wing back. He can play as left winger. They use him as a fullback sometimes, Yeah,
I think he might be the one that breaks through.
What's the other one who plays in the midfield, sometimes out wide? I always forget his name. What's his name? He's the one that was having a really good game against Villa.
He's the one you're talking about.
Oh, was it like Mantato? It was the one that, there was the defender who had a crack. It begins with an M again. I can't remember.
Kunku.
Monroe, isn't it? Is it Monroe?
Monroe, yeah. Monroe, yeah.
That's the one, yeah. Scanlon scored against Villa, didn't they?
Yeah.
But there are some decent midfield players in there.
Ibrahimovic is a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
to me, the one that if we still have him, it's that JJ Abrahams, isn't it? It's that youngster.
Yeah. Somebody mentioned him in the comments actually.
There was one. There was a defender who played against Phil in the Youth Cup. I can't remember his name, but he stood out.
Yeah, to me, the one that I absolutely love, if you go down, Stu, or is that Jarvis? Is the guy that I really, I've told Jarvis about him before.
Yeah, he's good.
Passing ability. Stephanie Griffiths straight in with, what about Jim?
Yeah. Maybe the Fletcher brothers.
Yeah.
No, they're good players. They're both very good players.
Yeah,
it's so funny. One of them captains Scotland, the other one captains England.
Yes.
No, it's really weird, isn't it? Yeah. JJ,
No,
he's the youngster, isn't he? Yeah.
Were they both?
He's the tiddler.
I mean,
isn't
were
he?
they both born in the same country? Do we know, or were they? Or was one Scotland, one England, or whatever?
No,
I
they
mean, the
call it-
twins are the twins, so
Oh,
they
I'm sorry,
chose.
of course.
Yeah, the
Right, I forgot
twins.
they were
He
twins. Sorry.
qualifies
yeah.
for both. He married her. She's British, isn't she? The wife is English.
Yeah, so
Right.
He's
so yeah,
Scottish.
one of them. I mean, for their parents,
I
innit?
forgot they were twins. I should have remembered.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of them chose to play for England.
England, that's
But I
right.
really like, the midfielder, Jack Fletcher. Is he the midfielder? I really like.
Yeah, Jack Fletcher.
Jack is the
Jack Fletcher,
midfielder.
but Tyler and Jack is both midfielders. But Jack is
For me,
the
he's
one
got
who's
he's got
played the most
unbelievable.
minutes. I believe.
Left
He's a
foot,
heck
the
of a
left
more
foot,
than Tyler.
the left foot. That left foot is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have Biancheri. He's and Shea Lacey.
Moose is good. They're all good.
You know, we've got a good set of youth. Got a good set of youth. Guys, that's all we've got on questions wise. So I shall hand you back to my old mate and let me just make the switcheroo. Oh, there he comes.
There he goes. There we go. There we go.
There he is.
Before we go, I just want to say I want to predict something, and this this came out the other day. I think it was today, actually. Understand that João Pedro can leave Brighton in the summer and is open for a new chapter of his career. So his fee is around 70 million euros.
I would take him,
but I feel that he's a player
I would take him
linked with.
I would take him before Gyökeres, for me personally. I rate him.
I
really
quite like
rate him.
Pedro, yeah.
I really rate him. What I like about him
let
is
him
that
go.
he sometimes drops into the number 10 or he goes out wide. He's quite versatile.
I like Pedro. Yeah.
But he can finish.
But he's injury prone, isn't he?
He is.
Another one, isn't he? But
I Newcastle. After.
Yeah. He was linked with Newcastle for a long time from last season.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but that's just my prediction. I believe that we will see more of him, and pundits and journalists link him to Man United in time. That's just my prediction.
It's a good prediction.
Yeah. 125 likes. If you haven't, now is the time before we wrap up the show. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. Thank you, Johnny K. Thank you, Nuradin. Thank you, Stu Woolley, for joining us. Who do you think we will sign during the summer transfer window? Get your comments in the non-live section after the show. If you're new, subscribe to the channel. We are reaching 1,000 subscribers pretty soon, I hope. We are 125 away from being fully monetized. And, we've been working a long time, Stu and I, and Johnny K has been in the chat. He's been on the show. Nuradin has been joining us. He's been helping us. Sending people over, shouting out the channel every time it goes live. So I'm grateful for all your help, Nuradin. And it's been a good show. We will be back tomorrow night, 9 p.m. with Jarvis's Corner. So guys, girls,
one of the best shows on YouTube about Manchester United by absolute far.
Thank you. So I just want to say,
subscribe to the channel.
Yes, subscribe to the channel, and thank you, Fred the Reds, DD Superfly Guy, Entire Simba, Be Cool, Hawk2, who else? Stephanie, Fan United fan, all of you guys tuning in. Thank you all for smashing that like. There's 153 people watching on X and YouTube. It's been a brilliant show. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we will be back tomorrow night, 9 p.m. So thank you, everybody, and have a good night. Bye.